Hello, everyone.
Hey, hey.
We're back. We're back. We're back. We're back. We're back. Am. Am.
I see somebody had a good time.
Oh, man. Hello, everyone. Hey, we're back on Shaping Solutions, How to Elevate in Life podcast, how to
Ooh.
elevate in your love of self, interactions with others, your focus, and your energy. I'm Sheila. That's Danielle.
I'm Danielle.
And if you guys don't know, we've been off, right, for a couple weeks because I went to the motherland. Let me
She
pull my
did
little
look good
shirt.
rocking an Africa shirt. Y'all represent.
I represent my little shirt.
Did you? Did you
Africa.
get that there?
Yes, I did. The motherland.
Nice, nice.
And it was just an amazing experience. And so coming back, it's 31 hours there. I stayed there for 10 days. Well, actually 2 weeks with travel. And then so yesterday I'm thinking like, what is the show gonna be about? And yeah, I'm excited about this topic, Danielle. But what you been up to over the last 2 weeks? Couple weeks.
Getting in shenanigans with Jay, first of all, as we discussed a minute ago. But no,
Uh-huh.
actually, I've been taking a bit of a step back. I've been helping my mom get back right because when I came back from, I want to say when I came back, yeah, because I missed one of the podcasts because she had like ripped her cornea, and we've just been having just a lot of stuff after that. So that's been the majority of my focus. I'll be honest. I'm all thrown off. I'll be completely. I need to fix it. That's what I need.
Thank you, Jesus.
Yes.
Jesus. It's interesting because this topic is you remember when you used to could like make your own or trademark your own stuff, like you would write it and then mail it to yourself and never seal it in, right?
Yeah.
So today's topic, I did that with this statement. And so today's topic is sit in it. And so I encourage people to sit in it. Like that's one of my sayings, like you just need to sit in it, you need to sit in it, you need to sit in it. And having this experience of Africa. So to our viewers, I just went to Africa. South Africa, and I spent time in the villages. I spent time in the township, and then we saw the city.
Nice.
And
so you hit the trifecta.
I was terrified. Like,
Why?
So it's something called xenophobia, right?
Yes.
In Africa, where they just don't like it. Like the people just don't like each other. Cultures don't like each other.
Yeah.
And it's big within the Black community.
Yes.
And so they have something else called gender-based violence, which is big against women. So they do a lot of stealing women and just a lot of the cultures kind of believe that women are, I want to say beneath, I want to get it right though, like submissive.
Okay.
So just the respect that we have as women in America, they're still fighting for that freedom.
And a lot of people don't understand that because I've said that 1,000 times. Where as much as we complain about this country, there's worse situations, especially as Black women. So, you want to change where you're at.
Yeah. And then like the political system. So they have like the president, but then they have the kings, and the king actually got crowned, or he had a ceremony while we were there. And you have these different this different cultures within cultures. Now the most interesting thing about my trip to Africa was that everybody, like South Africans, how we have Black Americans, white Americans, like African Americans. In South Africa, they don't have that. They just South Africans. So if you white, Indian, Black, or colored, you just South African. It's not like I'm a Black South African.
Okay. Do they start grouping it if you come from a village?
Yeah, it's not even that. It's just the Zulu culture, but it's just I'm South African, right? It's not how we distinguish ourselves as a race. They don't so much do that. Just more of a uniformity. But it was an amazing experience. If you guys want to see it, go to my Facebook /Shiela Little, and you can see my pictures of some of the things that I was able to do. And so coming back, like I said, coming back off of the trip, I'm thinking like, what can I talk about? That's pertinent to our show of how to elevate in life and pertinent to us living our best life.
That's the mission.
And I think, yeah, huh?
That's the mission. That's the goal. We got to live our best life.
That's the mission. And it's challenging. So for those of you, so we already did introductions, but just a little bit about what we do. So I'm a background in as a clinical therapist for 20 years, and now I do Shaping Solutions Leadership Training Development Institute. So one of the things that I've done over the last 6 to 8 weeks is move from my private practice to the nonprofit, and really moving towards helping professionals and entrepreneurial women, entrepreneurial minded individuals who own their own businesses, like how to elevate. And do that by, consulting the problem, coaching them, helping them develop the mindset to actually, solve the problem. And then some therapeutic techniques to really help heal some of the stuff that they're going through so that they can actually actualize the thing that they're trying to actualize. And I don't know, just in this South African thing, I'm like, transitioning is difficult, change is difficult, and that's the title of the show, Sitting. So, but tell our viewers what you do, if they don't know.
If they don't know, I am a small business entrepreneurship coach. I focus on the structural foundations of a business, the procedures. I kind of like the back end, reducing wasted time, increasing efficiency, making sure we have all the things in place, along with my specialty from 15 years in the manufacturing world is root cause analysis. So solving problems. So when people have problems, teaching them the techniques on how to solve problems, because you're going to have problems. Everybody has problems, just like you said, personal, but also in business. And so you got to know how to approach a problem so that it does not reoccur again. So that's what I work on doing, is preventing reoccurring problems. So I think.
Yeah. And I love it. Again, every podcast I will say this, I love what you do. I think it's needed and required, right? Even if you're a business owner and you understand that, I think it's always good to have an objective view to come in to see your blind spots and just kind of see what you're missing, how is that, what else you can do, because, you believe in continuous improvement. So there's always areas that we can improve. And so before we get started, I just want to take a mindful moment and just kind of take a deep breath, bring it all together, Okay, our title for today's show. Sit in it.
Sit in it.
Sit in it. And I'm an acronym person, so
I know it, and I love it, because this is something that people do not do enough of, in my opinion, because it's something that and it's funny because it's something that I try to do. And I was just having this conversation with somebody where it's like, it's not exactly what you had outlined, but sitting in emotion, sitting in that feeling when you're angry, when you're upset, when you're frustrated, stop and really think about what is going on, because it's something bigger, and that was just a tipping point. So I know you go ahead, hit them with the acronym.
So sit in it. The I in it. So sit in it. The I in it is integrity. So I want to talk about really what, again, sitting in it is. It's just like ownership. It's accountability. When we go in to change our life, it's just so important that we take ownership of who we are and what we're going for. And I always talk to my clients, Danielle, and I tell them that either you're running from your past or you're running towards your future, but you can't do both, right?
Amen.
And a part of this struggle of integrity, right, is how do I stay integritous to myself and to who I am when I've involved myself with so many people and so many opinions. So let's kind of talk about what is integrity. So do you know what integrity is?
It's doing what you say you were going to do, even when people are not looking. That was what was beaten to my brain in corporate. Doing the right thing, even when people aren't looking, is kind of like your own personal compass of making the good choices, even though on your own. On your
Yes.
own.
Yes. So it's, you said doing the right thing, even when people are not looking.
Yeah,
Right.
that's how they put it in the manufacturing world, because
Yeah.
in a plant full of 400 people, obviously you can't have eyes on everybody.
Everything.
But when
Yeah.
you're making food, you need to make sure you're not going to kill anybody. So
Right.
we need
Right.
integrity, so that you say, "Oh man, I just broke something. I need to tell somebody," instead of, "Nope, nobody's going to find out," and then a customer swallows it or something.
Mhm. So the Google version
So it hit
says
'em.
the quality of being honest or having strong moral principles and moral uprightness. That's the quality of being honest and having strong moral principle. So let's
I'm
break
gonna
this
say
down.
that's tricky though, because everybody got different morals.
Right. So let's break this down, because I never understood like what integrity was. And I heard this person, and I wish I can give them credit. And I want to say it was my old business partner, but I'm not sure. But it described integrity and character, right?
Okay.
And what it talked about was a house, and the way a house is built, right? So you have to build a house 6 feet. Your studs have to be like 6 to 8 feet apart from each other. The ceiling's got to be so high. Your floor planks got to be so
Oh,
many.
the basic guidelines
The
to
basic
start
guidelines,
building
right?
a house.
Right. So the integrity of a house is how that house is built, right?
Yeah.
The character of a house is what you see.
Is the design.
It's the
Yeah, I
design.
watch those remodel shows. So the
Yeah.
integrity they call them the bones. That's the
Yeah.
foundation of the
That's the
house. What you
foundation.
can't change, or you have to put a lot of effort in if
And
you want
changing
to
it.
change it. Yes.
Right. And so a part of the whole, I'm sorry. So a part of the whole being integritous is how you build. How are you built?
That's
Because
deep.
if you ain't built soundly, if you ain't built with a strong foundation, you gonna rock. You gonna be
We
moved.
all heard the story of the three little pigs. You talk about houses, man. But that's exactly what it is. If
It
you
is.
don't secure the structure, you will fall. So if you
Yes.
don't have a good how you build, the
Yes.
first shot that comes at you, you're gonna fall.
I love that you said that, because I think we told the story of the Three Little Pigs on the Small Business Podcast. But let me share with this audience with the story of the Three Little Pigs. So we all heard the story of the Three Little Pigs, right?
You never know who hasn't.
Right. First little pig did what? Built his house of
I think it was
straw.
sticks. Was it straw? Oh,
Straw.
his first one was straw.
Straw, right? And then the
Womp
second
womp.
little pig was like, I'm gonna build my house a little stronger, and I'm gonna go get these sticks.
I'm gonna run
Right?
these sticks. Yeah.
Took a little longer to build, right? And then the third little pig was like, "No, you know
He's a
what? I'm
full
gonna build
blown
my house.
carpenter.
I'm gonna build my house of brick, right?" And the interesting thing is that the wolf came, and so when the wolf blowed on the first pig house, huffed and
Gone.
puffed, gone,
Gone.
swept away. Went to the second pig house,
A little bit harder, but
huffed
still
and
gone.
puffed, blew that house down. But he went to the third little pig house, and I think this is the important thing. He huffed and he puffed. He huffed and he
Blow
puffed.
the house down.
He huffed and he puffed, but he could not blow that house down, right? And the reason why he couldn't blow that house down was because of how it was built, right? And that wolf represents life,
Amen.
right? And if you built a straw, meaning you're trying to do the quick fix, you're just trying to put something together, when life comes,
Gone.
you gone. And then even if you try to do a little bit, like I'm gonna put a little bit effort in it, but then I ain't gonna do too much. I'm gonna do just enough.
I'm gonna do one brick wall. I'm gonna do a brick accent wall with a straw side. That ain't gonna work.
No. So we have to really learn how to build our life in brick. And that's the thing, brick by brick. right? And that take a long time, but it's worth it. So the next question is in integrity is, why is it important? Why is it important to transform in your life? Because when we make a decision to change, I mean, you really got to anchor yourself.
Yes.
In that decision, because you going 100 miles one way, right, in life. And then you make this stop and you like, you know what, I want to go 100 miles the other way, right? Yeah. And to make that shift and that change, you're going to affect a lot of people. And a lot of people going to have a lot of opinions about why you shouldn't be doing what you're doing. Because look, going one way, you made a lot of people comfortable, right? If it was, and you can speak to this too, you know, the first part of our life, we give so much of ourselves and we care so much about what other people think, and we, you know, are looking for other people to tell us who we are and what we do. And then we check all these boxes, and we've talked about this. We check all these boxes and we try to do everything right. And we try to be like, yes, I'm going to do that because I want you to like me, and because I want you to love me, and because I want you to, you know, support me.
Accept me, and no, and then life.
And then
life's
and then you find yourself unhappy.
Yep.
With still a void, and you find yourself bitter because your narrative becomes, well, I help everybody, but they don't help me, you know, or I do so much for everybody, but nobody do nothing for me. Right. And it's like, at some point you want to change that and transform that. And integrity is so important when you go to change that, because you got to be strong and you got to be sound, and you have to have some type of honesty in yourself about what you're going to do and how you're going to do what you're going to do, and not be moved
when people, because people will try to drag you down. And that it goes back to that. I hate the crab mentality because it's negative, but a lot of people don't understand. It's really people projecting their fear on you. They don't even know they're doing it when they're saying, oh no, don't do that, why don't you just do this? Because they're projecting their fear, and that, depending on your structural foundation, can bring you down, where you're like, oh man, I could lose a lot of money, and then that's what starts, that's that wolf blowing at your house. And it's exactly what you said. You change directions, and then people are like, no, don't go that fast, don't go that way. And it's like, but everybody else went that way, why can't I go that way?
And here's the thing, sometimes everybody else going that way, but sometimes you're the only person going this way. Right? You're the only person choosing to go.
It's dark out here. I want to know what's on that side of the country.
What's on that side, right? You know, Danielle's short story. I remember I chose to leave my relationship. It was like, you know, I had 3 kids. We had been together for like maybe 13 years at that time. And, you know, at this point, I can say it wasn't him that made me unhappy. Like, I get it that it was me that made myself unhappy. But at that time, I was like, I'm just unhappy. I feel like I'm dying. Like, he's not, you know, supportive, but all this, you know, stuff that I was playing a victim of. But my grandmama and them set me at the table. And they was like, girl, you better not leave that man. That's a good man. You know, he take care of his kids. And in my mind, I'm thinking, but he's supposed to take care of his kids.
Yeah, I was saying, standards sometimes they be real low. They be real low.
Like, it's
like crazy. No, we're not doing that no more.
You know, your granddaddy ain't even helped me change a diaper. At least your kid's father changed diapers. And I'm like, is this the totem pole? Like, because he's a good dad? Like, is this the standard? Like, I'm telling you, I'm unhappy. I'm telling you that I'm unhappy. Why can't you hear me say, I am unhappy?
Trigger alert.
I want to leave the relationship. Like, you stupid. He got a good job, which he did. He had a good job. He was a provider. But I know that my soul needed more and was calling more. Good man wish him the best, want him to be happy. I love his happiness. I love the life that he has. I'm very supportive of it today and been supportive of it. I just didn't want that. And I got so much flack. Then I'm like, I'm gonna leave my job. Delta College, it's this astute career job, and everybody like, girl, do you know how many people would die for that job? And I'm like, you know what? They can have it because it's killing me. Lord, but here's the thing. I had to stay integritous to the voice within me, right?
You do.
I had to, in some way, know that this thing that was burning inside of me, that wanted to be, and if you hear my thing, that wanted to be delivered, I had to stay integritous to the direction I was going, and it was opposed to everybody that was in my circle. I mean, my friends wanted to have interventions with me, like, what's going on? Like,
you was leaving your job?
I was leaving my job, and I was leaving my family, and they was like, girl, what is going on? Like, but it was the integrity. It was the soundness that I had built in me that was like, we gonna get through this thing step by step.
Because it's your journey and it was your path, and you knew I'm supposed to be going down this road. I've been walking down this road. This road cool, but this ain't my road. This ain't gonna lead me to where I want to go. This ain't the road home. So like, because I'm the same way where it's like, I'm not about to sit here and explain all of my. See, I'm the opposite. I don't tell nobody nothing. So I move in silence like lasagna. That's what I do.
All right, Lil Wayne.
Because I don't have much patience for a lot of that, because it can be very frustrating and negative. And I focused on surrounding myself with people who are like, yeah, do that. You can make more money. Oh, you could do this, you could do that. And it's just, it goes back to that mindset thing of people with a fixed mindset. They only know this, so that's all they can teach you. So you have to go surround yourself with different people so they can teach you something else.
Right. And listen, I think that's the key. And I think that's what I want to kind of boil down integrity to. Yes. Your uniqueness, right? You have to be integritous to that thing that makes you, you. The call that is calling you to be different, to be daring, to change, right? And so many of us want everybody to come along with us on the journey, or everybody to see what it is that we see. And if you don't see it, then now some way I'm blinded by your vision of what I know I should be doing. Everybody in the family is attorneys, but I want to be a musician, but I'm being pulled to be an attorney when I feel like, but that's not what I was called to do. And I think that, we gave these definitions of integrity, but in this sitting in it, the integritous thing to do is to understand your voice and walk your path for you and stand in integrity about the thing that you want. And this is where we have to start believing in something higher than us, in that there's a purpose for my DNA, for my unique 23rd chromosome that makes me unique than all the other 6 billion, 7 billion people in the world. This unique thing for me needs to be delivered to this life, and I'm responsible to delivering that thing to the universe, to the world, and I have to stay integritous to this call. You know what I mean?
That was deep.
Somebody said,
look, exactly what our commenter just said. Yes, when you see the whole truth, that faithful acknowledgement and wisdom.
Yes, so you have to stay
walking on the right path.
Yeah, and I think we talk about integrity, but it's so important to transform in your life, because the first part of your life was for your family. The first part of your life was for your community. The first part of your life was for that. But when you go to make this shift, that second one is for you and what you were called to do. You know what I mean? And that is going to be unique and different for you, right? For the thing that you were called to do in life. And if we don't sit in it and stand in integrity with the thing that we believe in, then we won't manifest the life that we so desire and that we truly deserve.
Yes.
Yeah. And so it's important that we understand integrity, not just in the form of this an integritous person and I do what I say I'm gonna do, but it's also I'm gonna be integritous and be who
To
I was
myself.
created to be.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And that's the most integritous thing you could do and deliver to this world is sit in who you were created to be. And when I always tell people, you don't attract what you want, you attract who you are. And if you're not in alignment with what you was created to be, you're gonna be off in every relationship that you in.
Get out my head, because I was literally, that's what I was gonna say, because when you do that, then you will start to find your village of people that operate, I said, the same wavelength, the same energy, the same vibe, all of that. Because once you start like, nope, I like this, I do things this way, I like this, then you'll start to find the people that do the same things, and they will boost you, and they will help make your journey a lot easier as you head towards your house on that path.
It's like the story of the ugly duckling, you know, that was amongst the beautiful swines and just felt different. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Didn't even know. Didn't even know.
You know what I mean? And here he come being this beautiful swine. I mean, the ugly duckling. He was up against ducks, right? But he was the beautiful swine. He was the different one, and then came out to be the most beautiful swan. And I think we all have that story in us, where we feel like the ugly duckling, like we don't fit into this group, and why nobody don't understand me. And if we say that long enough, we will get caught up in believing that the life I want to live, I can't live it. The desires I have, they're not gonna happen, because you're not being an integritous and being truthful to the thing that you feel like you want to say, the thing that you feel like you want to be, and the actions that you need to take, because we have judgments around it, right?
Yeah.
And so that's what the next thing, the T. Truth.
Speak it.
Listen,
man,
what is truth? Let's go into what truth is, because
go ahead and hit it, because I'm sure that triggers a lot of people. Go ahead and hit them with the Wikipedia.
It just say the quality of being true, but a fact or belief that is accepted as true, right?
Okay. Yeah.
And I think that's it. That's accepted as true, which means that your truth, right? Which is my next question: why is truth subjective, right? Because what your truth is can be different than somebody else's truth. And this is so hard, you know, especially with religious people, because religious people be like, you know, there's only one truth, and this is how you're supposed to raise kids, and this is what you're supposed to do, and this is how you're supposed to be. You know, I watched this video on Instagram the other day, and it was talking about the school system, and it was saying how the school system has programmed us to think that, you know, there's only one right answer, right? And that, you know, in this program that life is systematic, and, you know, you take these tests and it's right and wrong and left and right. But life is, I have this thing, it's called the space between 0 and 1. In the space between 0 and 1, there's infinite possibilities. There's more integers between the space between 0 and 1, which means that there's more possibilities, right, between the number 0 and the number 1 than between any other number, right? And I think that we need to really understand our space between 0 and 1. Like, there's infinite possibilities in you. There's infinite truths in you. It's basically where you're at in life, what's going to be true for you.
Yes.
And that's going to be based on your experience. And I know that this is very hard for people who has been conditioned that there's one truth. I need to get married. I need to have kids. I need to get a job. I need to make, you know, this amount of money. I need to provide for my family. I need to do this. And we're on this journey trying to live a truth that may not be aligned for you. You know, I have a client. She's an attorney. And her truth is she's a romantic. She wants to be romanced by a guy. And she wants him to date her and wine and dine her. Huh?
Movie stuff.
Yes.
She wants the full movie experience.
That is her truth. That is her internal thing. But she has a judgment about that chick. She feels like that woman is weak. She feels like that woman is
the double-edged
she feels like
sword.
that woman is. And so she meets these guys that don't wine and dine her, right? Because she comes off now as this independent woman who don't need a man, who, who is, this professional, who can take care of herself. But deep down, her desire is that she wants a man to take care of her. Even as an attorney, she wants a man to take care of her. She wants to be woke. And I'm like, why are you not living in your truth?
Yeah.
Because when you live in your truth, right, and take away the judgments about who you think she is, then you're going to start to attract to you that in which you desire. How many of us, and I'm
that's deep, because I think I talked about something similar where it's like it didn't start changing for me until I stopped listening to everybody else and what everybody else thought, who they thought I needed to be with and all this other stuff, because it's exactly what you said. I never did it, but I've heard of like relationship affirmations, but that's real, because it's like, what do you want? Forget the person. The person's there. What do you want the relationship to look like? What do you like? How do you want to feel in the relationship? What do you want to receive? What do you want to give? And when you start to realize that, and then you date, as long as that's concrete and you really sat in it and thought about it, then as soon as you meet somebody who doesn't, it's easier to be like, okay, no, thank you. This isn't for me. On to the next one. And you're not desperate trying to fit the triangle in the circle hole.
And you mad because the triangle
won't fit in the circle. But the circle's sitting there like, I was a circle when I got here. What is the problem?
What's the problem? And I was okay being a circle. It was okay that I was a circle, but now you want me to be
you out for dinner. Now all of a sudden I gotta be a triangle.
So here's the thing. So okay, another short story for me. And again, these would be personal things. I used to be that independent woman, right? Where I'm independent. I don't need. I was like the person in my family that like took care of everything. And I wanted to give like I do. And I want to work. And I want to, generate a wealth amount of income. But I still want my man to take care of me. Right? I still feel like, oh no, I want him to pay the bills. And I want him to, make sure I'm good. I want him to have enough money to cover us. Not for any other reason, but that's my truth. Right? And I get flack about that. Like, but you got your own money. And I'm like, I do. I know I do. But it's just something about the way I feel when a man is a provider and a man is the protector and a man is the professor of his love for me. That just turned every, thing on for me. And I'm not going to back away from that because I'm able to do for myself. Nope, I'm not the independent woman. I'm an interdependent woman. I need you to be who you are as a man. And I need to lean into that because I'm definitely trying to live in my feminine energy. And a part of me living in this femininity is to allow you to be the masculine man that God created you to be, so I can be the feminine counterpart to that. And for so long, I only attracted feminine guys, like guys that wanted to be nurtured, because I was more masculine. I was more I was more like action oriented, or I could open my own door. I remember the first time a guy tried to open the door for me, I was like, you ain't got to open the door for me.
Look,
I can open my own door.
I'm still learning all that.
But now, baby, I'm standing at the door and waiting for you to open it because I like that. And that's what I'm saying, right?
I'm patient. Boy, move. You walking too slow.
So, this is what
but I love your slow walking.
And that's what I'm saying. But see, and that's my truth. So you see how truth is subjective, right? And everybody don't.
And that's funny because now for me, where it's like, I know my truth. I have more masculine quality, like you said. And then I'm worried about public stigma.
Yeah.
Where it's like, so we got to put on when we go out, like, all right, babe, go open the door. I'm going to sit in the car. We'll never do this. I don't care.
Let me
I
tell
love
you,
that where it's like, that's your truth. For me, I can give 2 pennies about if you open my door or not. What are you
and
doing at home to help me? I don't care about what we do in public.
And I think that that's it, right? We all have a story around
And it's
what our truth
okay for it
is.
to be your story. I think that's the bigger thing is if Shiela wants that, that's great. If Danielle
And
don't want that, that's
that's
great.
great. And
What's
here's the
going on
thing.
over here ain't got nothing to do with y'all.
Yes, and here's the thing about that. Again, we don't attract what we want, we attract who we are. And the more we stand in that thing that makes it true to you, right? Then the more life starts to align and the more fulfilled you start to feel in your life. You know what I mean? Like, because it's your life and the thing you want. So for me, I got a maid. We talked about this. That is not my truth. Like, I am not. Now, it was very difficult for me to live in that truth, right? Like, I don't want to clean the baseboards. That I don't get joy out of it. It doesn't now, but my may come in or serve with cleaning, house cleaning lady, whatever the name of it is,
I don't know
and
the
she
PC name of it,
enjoys it. She puts the music on, she's in la la land, she's humming. Like, that is her space. That is what she loves to do, and she does it so well, and I feel so relieved when she leaves, right? But listen, for so long, I did not live in that truth. Like, I tried to be her. Like, I'm cleaning up, I'm cooking, I'm raising the kids because I feel like I'm mandated to do this as the woman of the house. I got to make sure that I clean up everything and make sure everything is done. And I'm exhausted out at the end of the day because I'm not really living in my truth. Guess what? It's women out here who don't want to work. They want a man to take care of them. If that's your truth, live in it and don't care about what somebody else think you should be doing. Oh, yeah. There's men out here that want to be fathers, that want to be stay-at-home dads, but they not doing that because they're getting judged because, oh, the woman make too much money, and and you just whatever, what does they call it, a wife dad or whatever that is. But if that's your truth and that's what you was feel like you was called to do in this season of your life, live in it, because that's what's gonna bring you.
Somebody, me, would have loved to have a stay-at-home dad. Like, you sit here with the kids. I'm gonna go make this money.
Yes, yes.
Because that's within my range. And like you said, you meet somebody, you discuss your range. If the ranges don't line up, you keep it moving.
Yeah. And I think it's just important for us to, again, the reason why I said this sit-in thing is because I was going to Africa and I thought I was scared, to go. I was already nervous about going, but like, I was literally getting people like, you shouldn't go. Like, why would you go over there? Like, why would you go there? Like, they stealing women and, be safe. And like, it was like it
you want me
made
to
me
run off the list of things happening in America right now? Like,
it actually made me a little more scared though, because I was like, shoot, should I go? Should I go? And it's been so many times in my life where I just had to sit in it.
Yes.
Like, my integrity and my truth, and go against the grain of what everybody told me. And even in raising my kids, it's an it factor for each one of them. Each one of them has their own integrity and their own truth that, as a mother, I am here to hone into. I am here to help you cultivate, because all of y'all are different, and this is not like a cookie cutter process where we kicking out the same kid,
Man, what?
So like, trying to compare you, my oldest son, to my middle son, or my middle son to my baby, it's like, no, like, each one of you are unique and different in your own skill sets, and I want to be there for your truth and your experience.
That truth is. I love that. Yeah.
And listen, truth changes, because at one time the world was flat, and then it got round, and now there's people who say it's flat again.
Don't get me started. I'm a science major at heart. Don't get me started, man.
So truth is so subjective to the moment. It was a time when they felt like if you had something wrong with you that your brain couldn't change, right? And they had these wards, they had these mental wards where they would send people off into the mental ward. because we can't help your child. And now they're finding out that there's something called neuroplasticity, where we can actually rechange and reshape the mind and train your brain differently to do stuff. This is new information, right? But for so many years, the truth was this thing over here that you will never change, and there's no way you can change. But now it's, oh, well, you actually can change, and your brain actually can adapt. And I really want people to understand that truth is so subjective to the moment and to the information that you have access to at the time.
And I gotta speak on that, because that's what I learned looking into the history of autism. Because a lot of people say, oh, where is this coming from? Where is this coming from? But it's exactly what you said. People used to just dump different kids in an institution. And in like the 50s and 60s, and don't quote me, somebody Google it, tell me what I'm saying wrong. But basically, they started to shut down those institutions and they put them in school. And now it's like, wait a second, some of these kids ain't, and then you have to, but when you meet some of these autistic children, it's just, they just learn differently. There's nothing wrong with them. You have to, it's exactly what you said. It's not that they can't learn, it's you have to give them information in a different mode or a different way. It's they just don't fit into the traditional system that's meant for, you know, the 60 to 75% of average individuals. Right. And I think that's deep, because that's their truth. And it's, we've learned more about them. So now we know, okay, no, it's not you know, a death sentence or something. You know, it's not this big negative thing. If you can learn how to work around it, then you can develop some sense of normalcy.
Right. And, you know, for people who have autism, like, it's so much research being done to even like their potential and the gifts, because I think it was so much on their disability that people wasn't studying their ability, you know. And now it's so much about, like, when you looked at a person who had autism, it was like they were limited, but now they see, no, this person actually has these other abilities that are outside the norm of a regular, you know, individual.
Or they have an extremely wide range on a limited topic. And that's the problem. Like, people don't like that. Whereas like they can sit there and tell you everything about cars, but they don't care about politics. Like, I love it though. It's like it's such a simple life though.
Yeah, and I mean, even with diabetes or any type of, you know, diseases, like, people are still learning about this. So truth is, the bottom line is truth subjective? I do feel like truth is subjective, and it's subjective to, I mean, I do feel like truth is subjective, and it's subjective to the information you have access to at the time. And when we go to transform our life, let's bring it back into transforming your life. What was true for you yesterday may not be true for you today, and that's okay.
Yes.
You know, it's okay to change your truth, right? I get a lot of individuals who made decisions at 20 years old, and at 20 years old, you made a decision, and now you 30 and 40 years old, and you still trying to hold true to a decision that you made at 20, 22, 23 years old.
But 10 more years of information.
You got way more information now, right? So actually, it's not true anymore. That statement or that idea or that belief is not true anymore, which is why you're in the dis-ease, because you're holding on to yesterday's truth instead of allowing today's truth to reveal itself, you know? And so this is important when we start talking about sitting in it. And sitting in it is sitting in this life. When you go to transform, sitting in this life that has been created for you, that only you understand, only you can collaborate. I think that's the word. Only you can shape and form, right? And here's the thing, and getting a coach to help you tap into what I call the it factor, right? So we all have an it factor. We all have an integrity and a truth about us. And we just need to learn how to tap into that it factor, so that we can start to manifest the life we want. And I'm using this word manifest in a very a very intentional way, because that's what you're doing.
Yes.
You were given this life to create, not to respond to.
I love that.
I'm going to say it again. You were given this life to create, not to respond to. And so many of us are responding to a life that was given to us. And we so upset, and we so in so much dis-ease and so much disarray, and so, pulled apart from what we really want or how we want to live. And the truth of the matter is, it's because you not creating the life that you desire and ultimately deserve. You want somebody to give it to you.
Yes.
And it ain't happening like that, because nobody knows what you know. Nobody feels what you're feeling. Nobody knows what it feels like for you to sleep, be up at night because you miserable in your life. And a lot of times people don't know it because you ain't showing it.
Yeah.
And you ain't talking about it, and you suffering in silence. And there's so many of us suffering in silence, Miss Danielle, because we don't have the courage to talk about it, nor do we have the wherewithal to even figure out what our it factor is so we can sit in it.
Yes.
And that's why I've just dedicated my life to helping people to transform not just their life overall, but these small conditions, right? These small areas in their life, these little small ways that they think, and ultimately those little small pellets will lead to, like sand.
Yes.
These little small changes that we make will become sound ground for us to stand on, to build the integrity that we want. So then now, when somebody see you, they see what life is. They see life in you, and not
Yes.
this like kind of fake. And I don't even like the word fake. This unauthentic
Yeah,
life,
I
but
like that.
the authenticity of who you are as an individual, you know. And that's
Yeah.
just remarkable to be around. And that's
It
one of
is, and that's what I was saying, when you get around people who are living in their truth, and have it, you can feel it, you can see it. And that's what I've talked to people that I've worked with is, and that's where I get that thing about, I ain't gonna say it on here, but like, if talking about your business does not energize you, maybe you're not doing the right thing, because that's part, going stepping over to like entrepreneurs and business owners. You hope that you've come to some truth in
yeah,
why you want to start this business. What is your passion? You want to provide a service, you want to do something to help create something for somebody else. So if it does not give you the Holy Spirit when you're talking about it, what are you doing? Because you're not living your truth then. Like, that's how I
yeah.
see it is when somebody, oh well, no, why are you, wake up, perk up. Do you even want to do this? Like, so
So a lot of people, I'm glad you said that, because I feel like a lot of people feel like that comes with the territory, right?
yeah,
That this suffering, in some way, this suffering that I'm going through is required in life because everybody suffers, right?
yeah,
And everybody has to go through this, or everybody has to, it's some pain, no gain. Like these little beliefs that create a big impact and a big disconnect in our life, because it's just not true. Like yes, it's the difference between, I tell people, it's the difference between your body aching because you laid in the bed all day and you ain't got no strength, or your body aching because you
you
went
worked
to the
out.
gym
I
and
like
you
that.
did a workout. You know what I mean?
There's a
Like
difference.
one ache is purposeful. One ache is strengthening you. One ache is providing some source of renewal for you. And the other ache is just killing you, you know? And a
Yeah,
lot of us are dying a slow death emotionally. And a part of this it factor is living in our truth. And a part of that is in our emotions. You know, we're so detached from our emotional person, that we don't even know how to feel, or we don't even know what we feel. And it's
Yeah.
just important for us to introduce ourselves back to our emotions, the emotions of the man, because our emotions are directly coordinated with our intuition,
Yes.
directly connected with our spirit person. And we store so much emotion in our body, we'll shut it down. And so we're disconnected to so much of our it factor, so much of, who we are, because we don't even know how to feel, you
That's
know.
deep.
And so,
Because I
having
mean, a lot of people are on defense mode so much. You know, if you think about a warrior can't worry about, oh, I just got hit. Let me sit and think about this hit. No, you take a hit and you keep going.
hmm Yeah, because they got a mission and they got a plan, right? And that's a part of the emotions that when you're tapped into an emotional place, it gives you passion. That passion fuels you for your why, and it energizes you, like you said. If it ain't giving you joy, and listen, I ain't talking about joy, this idea of joy where we, are doe-eyed. I'm saying joy
Like,
in a very subtle, like, I have joy, and it's in me, and it's on me. And I think when we think about emotions like happiness and love, we have these images that
yeah,
has been given to us of what that looks like. And joy is really just a feeling of invigoration, right?
yeah,
Some type
like
of
a
vitality,
fullness.
a
Yeah,
fullness, you know
yeah.
what I mean? And it could be a subtle feeling, but in our minds, we feel like joy is this extreme, emotion, and it's not that, And when you live in your purpose, it's not that either. Like, it's not this overwhelming, like, feeling all the time. It's very
Oh
subtle,
yeah,
like,
no, no.
yeah,
But
yeah.
it should
It's the
come every
voice.
now and then. You know,
It, it,
because life
oh,
is still lifing it up to death. So
and that's the thing about it. So, have you ever ate a good, like, I had this good steak, and when you eat it, it's savory. So that's what
yep.
I say, like, feelings are savory, right? So it's like you taking it in and you like, right? You're not like, like screaming it, like you're
Well,
taking it
yes,
in,
it's
like,
more internalized
yeah, it's
than
like,
it's something for your
yeah,
spirit.
that's that right there. That is good. Like, it's savory. And these emotions that we have, they should be more savory to us, because people can love bomb us. Now, when I want to talk about that in relationships, there's something called love bombing, when you meet people and they just giving and doing, and you just feel so like, oh my God, it's just doing so much. And it's really a form of love bombing, where they just pushing all this emotion on you and giving you all of this, and you feeling so like overwhelmed by it.
I
And
think I
it,
used to
it
do this.
huh?
I said I think I used to do that to guy.
Yeah, and it's like, but there's an intention for that love bomb, and it's not sustainable. But
It's
when
not.
you can, you know, another story. So when I was in Africa, they would talk about COVID, and the guy talked about how during COVID they had the oxygen machines, and they had to put all the oxygen machines up to like 100% capacity, and they had never put the oxygen machines up to 100% capacity. And when they did it, they froze.
Mm,
And what they realized was that the oxygen machine, although it can run at 100%
it's not
capacity, is
sustainable.
not built to run at 100% capacity, right? It's built to run at 70, 80% capacity. And that's the love bomb thing. Like, when we think about emotions, we're thinking about them at 100%, like, all the time. And we actually gauge in the middle of all of our
Yes,
emotions. That's
it's
where we're
almost like a
supposed to
sine
live,
wave. Yeah.
right? Yeah, it's like, yeah. And that's kind of like the it factor of emotions. I just brought that in kind of off topic, but I do want to have a conversation about emotions one day, because I think it's important for us to get back introduced to our emotions. But the way we get introduced to our emotions is to definitely take on this it factor and really learn how to sit in it, right? Sit in our integrity and be who we were created to be, and be truthful about who we are in the moment and what we need in the moment.
And I want to add this as a more recent truth finding in myself person is when you sit, think about your journey. Think about all the things that you've done, the situations that you've been in, evaluate, was this the best thing to do? Could I have done this better? Like really run down yourself, and then through that you'll see what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses, what do you really actually enjoy, what do start to really analyze all those situations that you put yourself in or have been placed in, and look at them from like you looking outside the box, like somebody came to you with advice, but do it to yourself, and also take into consideration people's feedback, because I spoke to this before, where there are people that can come in and they're not negative, they'll speak truth into you. Oh man, you should be doing this, or you should be doing this. And it's like, well, why are those people saying that? What is it about you that these people are convinced that, somebody used to always tell me, oh, you need to be in sales, just because I like talking. Like, and it's like for me, and I'm like, I don't want to be in sales, like, but he said that because I'm able to speak clearly and I don't say and that's what he was used to hearing. So when he met somebody that didn't was able to flow the words, he associated that with sales. And so it's very interesting to break it down, but I think it's also important to take into consideration. I wouldn't say just, take everything as your truth, but take into consideration all the positive things people have been telling you over the years. Don't worry about the negative. Maybe some of it, but positive.
And I think that, yeah, and I think a big part of, to add to that, I think a big part is knowing what your values are. Yes. And so what I want to do is basically is put a link in the comments after we get done so people can download a value sheet. And what I encourage people to do with this value sheet is it's like 30 values on there, but like figure out your top 10 values, right? Because what you used to value at 10 and 20 and 30, or in this career or in that career, or as a single person versus a married person, or as a friendship in this crew versus a friendship in this crew, your values change.
Yes.
And a big part of staying and sitting in it is knowing what you value. And it's funny because I ask people, what is it that you value? And people are like God, family, and my job,
The same cookie cutter responses.
Yes. And I say, okay, so how much time do you spend with God? Oh, I go to church on Sunday. Okay, 2 hours, 4 hours 5 hours if certain churches, right? And how much time do you spend with your family? Oh, we get together on Saturdays. And how much time you spend at work? Oh, it's about 60 hours. All right. So you value your job, right? Over these other things. No. But you do, though, because that's where you invest in most of your time. And listen, that's not right or wrong. If you want to shift that, though, the awareness that, oh, you know what, I am spending a lot more time at my job than I am with my family. If you want to shift now your value, then make more time for your family and make more time for God. And there's so many other values, though. Like one of my number one value is autonomy. I love the freedom to be me, right? You're like, so your number one value is not family or love? No, it's not. My number one value is autonomy, because when I'm free to be me, then I can love you the way I want to love you, how I want to love you. But I need that freedom first. And if I don't have that freedom, my personality is a type where I'm like at dis-ease and disconnected, right? So I'm a better mother, I'm a better worker, I'm a better person when I have autonomy. So that's my number one value, making sure that I have the freedom to do what I want to do, how I want to do it, when I want to do it. Now, that ain't everybody's first value, but it's important to know what your values are when you go to sit in it, right? Because when you go to learn this it factor, when you go to learn how to be integritous, because that's what you're being integritous to, the thing you value the most. And the thing you value the most is you. and who are you, and what does that look like? Do you value love? Do you value money? Do you value wealth? Do you value, but I want people to look at this sheet and really start to look at these 30 values. Choose your top 10 and then try to break it down to your top 5, because if you break it down to your top 5, I think that you will realize, like, oh, this is why I do what I do. This is why I live how I live. This is why I want this relationship to look like that, because it's valuable to me. And the things that's valuable to us, Danielle, is the things that we pay attention to, whether we pay attention to them outside or whether we pay attention to them inside, right? That's what we're listening for. That's what we're connecting with people with, or that's why we feel disconnected from people, because they don't value what we value. So a part of sitting in it is all the things that you said, but also knowing what you value in life, right? And if it's family, or if it's friends, or if it's wealth or whatever, knowing that and then creating a plan to get there. So
that's the integrity.
That's the integrity. That's the integrity. Yeah.
Because I talked about the truth. I ain't even realized that I was touching more on the truth aspect, because it's like sit down and be truthful to yourself, but then also that your values go back to what are you integrate,
Yeah, yes. So I have some things under the it factor that I do want to talk about. The first thing is, you can put it up there for me, Jay. He that is in me is greater than he that is in the world. When I think about how do I sit in this thing and stay true to who I am, I have to know that thing that is in me is greater than that thing that is in the world, or the people that is in the world. And if I hone into my greatness that's inside of me, then I can't overcome the thing that's outside of me, right? And so honing into our it factor, and I know that this is a Bible verse, but it's so powerful, because truly the thing that is in you is always going to be greater than the thing that is in the world. And when we tap into our it factor, it's just important to know that even when it doesn't look like that, that it is greater, right? And you have to know that you have a strength in you that's greater than any strength out in the world. Now, you can give that strength to the world, right? You can give that strength away, but you have it for yourself to elevate and lift that gift that's within you. The second thing under the it factor that I want to remind our clients is that the truth shall set you free.
Amen.
We hear this all the time.
Trigger alert. What does that mean?
We hear this all the time. The truth shall set you free. The truth shall set you free. But the truth shall really set you free, because whatever it is that's bothering you, whatever it is that you want to do, when you relinquish it, it actually opens up a new space for you to live, to be, to experience. And that's not going to happen until you bear your truth.
Yes.
Even if your truth is an error, you're not going to know it's an error until you bear it, until you say it, until you speak it. And so there's the idea that this is the truth, like this truth, and I guess we can say the truth, like whoever you believe in, God can set you free. But there's a truth in you that will deliver you when you become honest about it. Again, I'm gonna share a story. I work with a client. He's probably watching the show, and he has this issue with being truthful with women, and so every week we talk about, well, why can't you just be honest? You know what I mean? Like, he go in and he woe these women, and and he's like, I feel so bad, I feel so guilty because she's. And I was like, but why you feel bad and guilty when you're wrong? And what it boiled down to was that he really did like to entertain, but he really didn't want to hurt the women's feelings. Like, he felt like, well, this is what I feel like women want, even though it's not his truth. He feels like this is what women want. Women want to be wined and dined. They want to be talked nice to. They want this thing. And then now he's not set free, though, because that's not his truth. He's actually being caged, right? Because now he got these women that's like, oh, you just disrespectful, and they go off on him because he's not living in his truth. Like, it's like,
I got to piggyback off of this. I don't care if I get in trouble because I'm exposed. My husband was kind of the same way. So his was more say whatever to please people or just to, and he got into this habit of he would literally just say whatever to people and nobody would question him until I came along and I started adding stuff up. I was like, why did you say that? Oh, it's so funny to me because I call it auto lying. He does this auto lying thing, and it'll be like, "Did you do that?" He'd be like, "Yeah." I mean, no. And I was like, "Why did you say yes?" Because for so long he was just used to saying whatever to people to just get them out of his face or just to make them happy, or like exactly what you said, like this is what they wanted to hear, so this is what I told them. And it's like, no, dude, you can't do that. You can't do that.
And the reason you can't do that, yes, yeah, and the reason why you can't do that is because it's not only affecting them; it's affecting you.
And that's what I told him. I said, you're lying to yourself. I said, forget me, take me out of the picture. Like, don't lie to yourself, because if you lie to yourself, you can lie to anybody. And I think a lot of like more religious people say, you lie to yourself, you're lying to God. You're lying to this bigger entity that's bigger than you. So if you cannot be truthful with that bigger entity, you can't live your best life because you're just lying, and you got to cover up the lies and cover up the lies.
And I mean, I will tell anybody
guilty for lying,
right? Any man, woman, child, whatever. Listen, we don't attract what we want; we attract who we are. If you're not finding a mate that you want, or attracting the job that you want, or living the life you want, it's probably because you're not being honest, about what you like to do, what you don't like to do. It's probably because you placating to somebody else's desire and not to what you truly want to do. And we'll go in, I think people call it your representative. We'll go in with this representative
I like that.
Okay, I'm gonna do what I think you want me to do or how you want me to do it. Hold on a second.
Yeah, I think everybody does that, and it's all a matter of time before you remove that stand-in. It's almost like you standing in the understudy first. Like, all right, y'all going first.
Yeah, so
they kind of know the lines. Go ahead.
Yeah. So we'll have this representative, and then all of a sudden now we flip the switch, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, just be honest. Listen, if you ain't ready to settle down, stop saying you're ready to settle down.
If you don't hear anything else we've said this whole hour, if you ain't ready, everybody appreciates the letdown. It hurts. It's like ripping a Band-Aid off. I get it.
I'm one, like, listen, women, if you like to date. Like, stop caring about what people think about you dating, because in your dating, you gonna find something else. You gonna find something about yourself. And listen, if you don't like to date, then don't date. Don't make nobody push you out there to date. So it's just these little nuances. And I say it's just little small nuances that we have to shift, because your truth will set you free. Yeah. And listen, when you bear your truth, you don't even gotta cut people off. You'll start seeing life just start to shape in front of you in a way where people start to remove themselves out your life.
You said it.
Yeah.
You said it. You'll start to be like, oh, where's such and such go? Yeah. I don't like how you shining right now. You shine a little too bright. They had to go buy their shades when they come back.
And then the third one, let me see what I put down for the third one, Jay. Your gift will make room for you.
Ooh.
Now, this is another one from the Bible, and I think that we see it like in this way of money, or like your gift will make room for you, or make more money for you. And I really see this a little different.
I see it.
I really feel like, your gift.
And look, I'll be the first one to say I'm not the biggest religious person, but I took that as like your talent will make room for you. Like, there's a space for you to express your talent and you just gotta, it's gonna find you. You find it, it finds you. Boom. But
Yeah.
go ahead, break it down.
But the gift, it's the it factor. You are the gift,
Mm-hmm.
right? You are the gift to this world. And that gift of you being you will make the room for you in your life. It will open up spaces and opportunities. It will attract the type of relationships. And listen, the type of relationships that you need. And so maybe you need somebody in your life to rough you up or to hold you accountable. You know what I mean? So when I say, attracting this life, that ain't always peaches and creams neither, right?
No.
You may attract your next person may be somebody that's gonna hold you accountable to some stuff that you ain't been held accountable to in a long time. And that may be very difficult, but it may be just what you need to align, advance, and accelerate in your life. So when we talk about manifesting, this is not like, oh, all good things.
Careful what you wish for.
Yeah, it is definitely what you need. And my granddad used to paint cars. And so when it was a rust spot on a car, he would cut the rust out, put the metal in, rivet gun, right? Take the rivet gun and put it back in. But he would have this, the first thing he would do would be this hard sander, and all these sparks would fly, right? Just to kind of smooth it out. And then he would go over it with like a 10th grade, paper and a 20 grade paper. He would take the sandpaper. Each sandpaper, though, was a grade finer than the one before. Yeah. And in life, that's how our relationships is. As we gonna hit, when we're cutting out an old space and replacing it with something new, there's a roughness that happens because you have to get this metal to fit in. You have to get this piece, this new part of you to fit into this old part of you. And so there's going to be some roughening up, right? Yeah. The seams to seam this thing together, but you go through that enough and you will get to a 220 wet sandpaper. And people who know what I'm talking about.
The one that we used in the morning accountability group was like still sharp and still, like when you watch steel forming, somebody making a sword, like sparks are flying. It's a mess. Yeah. But what do you get out of that? So I love that analogy because, we said be careful what you wish for. When you start living in your truth, you're going to have people that are going to, hey, this is what you said.
Right. This
is what you were going to do. Don't get in your feelings when, because it's a journey and it's a road of improvement. So you may have those times where you go back to your old self for a second. It's like, nope, I stopped living my truth for a second. Let me get back on my road, on my journey. But it is, you're going to meet those people that are going to challenge you, and it may look ugly and combative, but they're actually doing that to sharpen your steel.
Sharpen your skills. And that's it. That's the it, right? The it is you, and you are it. And that is the gift. And when you sit in it, it will make room for you. You will have the space, and it can get right up to the end, and you just think, you know what? And I mean, it's been so many times in this transformational experience where I'm sitting in my car like, okay, God, I just give up. Like, I just can't do it no more. I'm tired. And then in the blink of an eye, whatever that thing is that I wanted, whatever I desire, or whatever, coming right on in when I'm about to step off, like it's coming right in. And so, this is why having hope, and I say hope is the vision, and then attaching it to the faith is going to really help you. And the faith is like believing in the thing that it's not there, but having that hope and faith and playing with that along this journey is going to help you to be able to sit in this thing a little bit more, to sit in this thing called life a little bit more, in more in particular your life. And I just say, hey, sit in it.
Love it.
We got the shirts coming out, so sit in it. I'm sitting in it. Miss Danielle sitting in it. Jay sitting in it. And the more of us can sit in it, which is who we are, then the more we can come together like pieces of the puzzle and create this beautiful, portrait of what life is supposed to be. And your uniqueness is different, and we need your difference in the world. We need your uniqueness in the world. And so, I just encourage everybody to sit in it. I chose to sit in it. And it took me to Africa. And it took me a whole lot of places emotionally. It took me a whole lot of places in my life, in my career. And it's just been a remarkable experience. And it ain't been easy. I done had anxiety, and I had, I think the only thing I haven't been like is depressed, but like the anxiousness, the fear and all of that. But I keep putting one brick down, one brick down. And when life come to huff and puff, I'm looking out the window like, we ain't
Come
going
at me,
nowhere.
bro.
This was sending this thing. Hey, you guys make sure that you guys download that affirmation challenge. That's also in the link. We got our 30-day affirmation challenge. I thank everybody who's been on it. I think I'm on at this point day 15. We put this out a couple of weeks ago, getting some really good feedback about it. It's changing people's life. I got this little text the other day.
Oh, sugar snaps.
From a marketer, and she's like, my mom said, this is my affirmation for the day. And, it's really transformational. Again, I just encourage people, you have been programmed. You have a playlist that has been given to you. And that playlist, when the songs is done, it plays over and over. And those are your beliefs and thoughts, right? And if you want to listen to something different, and if you want to experience something different, a different song, a different melody, you are responsible for adding new songs to the playlist. And that is what the affirmation challenge is there for, to give you a new sound, to give you new messages, to give you a new way to see yourself so you can sit in it and, ultimately live the life you desire and have the life you deserve. I'm Shiela.
I'm Danielle.
Yeah, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube page, Elevating Life, for our podcast page. You can follow me at I'm Shaping Solutions. You can follow Miss Danielle at
DCDR Solutions.
And always make sure that you go to Mid City Podcast.
Mid
And
City
the
Network
host
taking
of
over the
shows
world.
Mid City Network, host of different shows, real estate shows, and they just have Jay just came out with the sports show. We got the small business podcast that plays. So, go and like that page so that you can be a part of our community. It's some great things happening in that community. And I applaud Mr. Jay Wicker, for, the commitment that he does to make sure he engineering, our shows and providing those opportunities for everybody else. I thank you guys for being here with us. I hope that, this show provided you with some insight about just sitting in your life and being the person that you ultimately want to become. And I know it's difficult, and you may have been thinking about this and struggling with it. And, hey, I'm here to help you. Danielle here to help you. You can always inbox us.
It's never too late to start.
It's
never too late.
Hey, I love you guys. See you next week.
See ya.